When we last left off, we had just intercepted State Representative Dan Moul.
Hey, Mr. Moul, I was really trying to get the word out to you about getting stabbed here in Gettysburg. Because you'll see me get chased down and stabbed by a second-time violent offender. And our district attorney, Brian Sinnott, he got the guy off on ARD, which is illegal for a violent offender. So I'd really appreciate your help on this issue.
What would you like me to do?
Well, Dan's been a busy guy.
Showing his support to other local veterans, judging dog shows,
And as Pennsylvania House Chair of Local Government,
receiving the Guardian of Victims' Rights Award, presented to those who have served as advocates and ambassadors for crime victims across the state.
Stabbed here in Gettysburg.
What would you like me to do?
he does a little investigating of his own and gets back to me. Like a boss.
Fucking mob boss.
Instead of investigating my district attorney breaking the law,
Allowing repeat violent firearms offender Glenn Kessler to walk free.
and armed around his constituents, Dan looks into my criminal history, which only exists in his Adams County.
Here, Dan mentions my first offense DUI on New Year's Day.
Well, thanks for your concern, Dan, and you're right. Multiple brain injuries, severe PTSD, and a plethora of polytrauma don't mix well with drinking. I have since quit the occasional drink and no longer make brash decisions under the influence of alcohol.
Like a boss, he goes on to mention charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment that were illegally applied to me and dropped twice.
If y'all missed the video, The Lawyer's Daughter, here, you'll watch as a local attorney's daughter repeatedly breaks into my house and invades my property on video and plants drugs before calling the cops while I'm on probation for said DUI.
Dan already knows all about this one, and here he is blowing me off about it in May.
Lastly, Dan mentions charges that were leveled on me for disarming a second-time violent
Repeat offender of his pistol, then getting chased down and stabbed by him.
America. I had to sit in court and watch
As my second-time violent offender assailant illegally walks free.
So, Guardians of Victims' Rights champion Honorable Dan Moul did his homework, thoroughly investigating me
Before providing his response that the county commissioners that are in charge of the common courts are not aware of the video of Kessler stabbing me.
Well, they must not be aware that Glenn Kessler chased me down and stabbed me.
In between where the tape on the walls measures up to 7 foot for security camera use.
So what's really strange is,
Get chased down and stabbed by a second-time violent offender. And our district attorney, Brian Sinnott, he got the guy off on ARD, which is illegal for a violent offender.
And Dan makes no mention of it. Where did his investigation go into these claims?
the same place the investigation went when I informed all of the county commissioners
Of the conspiracy to exonerate Kessler before he received his judgment illegally on our election day.
In fact, Dan is such a fraud
That he even lies to himself.
sucking in that gut does nothing to lower your insulin levels. He even got himself bona fide
Duke and Bo Duke approved getaway car. Woo!
This conspiracy is wide out in the open. But the truly sad state of affairs is that Honorable Dan Moul's behavior as chair of the House of Representatives local governments is truly representative of the fraud of the Pennsylvania state legislature and the local governments.
In the Pennsylvania Capital's own newspaper, have bribery, fraud, and abuse of power become synonymous with Pennsylvania? That PA politicians have a rap sheet that would make any hardened criminal proud? They are self-admitted among the leaders in this dubious category.
Me and Leo can personally attest to this.
We informed every representative in the state of Pennsylvania of the proof of the gun-toting repeat violent firearms offender Glenn Kessler walking free around their constituents. Here's Rob Kaufman confirming receipt.
I shit you not, 9 days later, he uses my email contact to send me this.
As chair of the House Judiciary Committee, he approves bills to keep firearms out of the hands of dangerous criminals.
You laugh, but go ahead and throw state reps
John Hershey, Mark Keller, and Natalie Mihalik
on that same pile of shit.
bullshit.
So if that's how our House Judicial Oversight Committee conducts business, it's no stretch of the imagination to how Pennsylvania law enforcement has become so inherently corrupt. The mechanism they use to obstruct justice is to conspire with their district attorney to selectively report and charge crimes. Watch my video here, First Blood, Local Epstein deal.
How State Trooper Cameron Beck fails to charge Kessler with stabbing me, enabling Kessler to get this illegally wiped from his record, even though he did this same shit 2 years ago.
Which brings me to my next point. The Adams County cronies call in this douchebag investigator anytime they need something to disappear.
Cause they're so sick.
I fucking called it months ago in my video. Here, cook books and burn notice state cops.
Trooper Cameron Beck was brought in to investigate the death of a man found breathing, lying in the road, in the same small town as his co-conspirator, my assailant, Glenn Kessler. He has since closed the criminal investigation, as the only logical conclusion is that the deceased fell out of a moving car.
What the fuck? Where's his fucking car? If he was riding in someone else's car, what happened to the driver when he lost his passenger? A passenger found breathing that later died.
This is some scary shit, y'all.
So we see the common thread here of state cops failing to report a crime and the DA failing to charge for it. Things starting to get a little uncomfortable?
Good.
Because look what else our cops and district attorney conspired to achieve.
This is the story of Officer Michael Caricato, whom sexually harassed a fellow female officer for years but was never charged for it, culminating with District Attorney Brian Sinnott instead opting to pay $250,000 of taxpayer money for a gag order. In fact, there'd be no criminal charges at all if Officer Cortesis didn't find the evidence herself. Despite charges of felony wiretap, District Attorney Brian Sinnott offers him ARD, wiping this from his record. The same mechanism he used to illegally wipe this from my assailant's record, enabling Caricato to sue for his job back within 2 months. Under District Attorney Brian Sinnott's directive, the circumstances around Caricato's sexual harassment were kept so hidden that an arbitrator mandated 2 years of back pay and to rehire him.
You just heard that right. District Attorney Brian Sinnott conspired with police to not charge Michael Caricato with any sexual harassment to enable this threatening pervert to continue to police around your family. So I emailed Marcy's Law of Pennsylvania,
informing them of House Representative Dan Mouse's protection of corrupt District Attorney Brian Sinnott conspiring to protect perverts and perpetrators. And what did they do?
Just kidding. It's way fucking worse than that.
They give him the fucking Guardians of Victims' Rights Award!
What?
Hold the front door. Who the fuck is this Carrie Nayscow that looks like Brian and Dan's kissing cousin? Oh snap, her day job is at a local conservative political advisor firm.
Oh my god!
While serving on a non-profit board presenting awards to some of the worst victims' rights offenders.
About getting stabbed here in Gettysburg.
What would you like me to do?
Not finished. With this blatant perversion of law and decency,
I escalate this to the chair of the Senate Intergovernmental Committee, my district senator, 30-year veteran Colonel Doug Mastriano. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video of Colonel Doug Mastriano giving us a demonstration of his training as a career Army intelligence officer.